you beautiful people. Welcome back to the Long Term Podcast. I am your host, Advin Villa. Today, we have vlogger, traveler, and barista, Kasia Sczesny. We will discuss life after high school without a solid plan, trying different things, coming back from failure, and navigating through things with anxiety. Everyone, welcome.
Hi.
Welcome, Kasia.
Thank you for having me.
How's your day so far?
Pretty good. I just worked this morning and then I had some lunch and then got ready and came here. So it's been a pretty easy day so far.
Cool. Thank you for doing this.
Thanks for having me.
This means a lot. So life after high school without a solid plan. What were some challenges you faced when transitioning from high school to adulthood without a clear plan?
Yeah, when I was in grade 12, my mom was like super, I want you to go to school. I want you to go to post-secondary, didn't have to be a degree, but just go do more schooling and learn more. But I didn't want to go to school anymore. I didn't really love the school aspect of high school. I was more there for the social aspect of high school. And so I ended up actually doing an internship as a gap year just at my church, and then was using that time to also kind of figure out what I wanted to do, because I inevitably was going to end up going to school because that's what my mom wanted for me, but I just didn't know what I wanted to do yet. So it was difficult because I was really enjoying the internship and what I was doing, and I was trying to be invested in that, but it was like I had a weight on me that was, okay, well, what do you want to do after this? What do you want to do for the rest of your life, pretty much? And it was hard because I knew that there was a deadline, and I knew that I needed to figure out what I wanted to do.
Deadline?
Yeah, the internship was going to end, so I knew I had to go to school in the fall, because it was like a September to April thing, so it was like a school year. But then, it ended up getting cut short early because of COVID. So we ended in March, and then March was when I enrolled for university. So.
Oh, yeah. So tell me about that.
Yeah, I enrolled at Concordia doing a Bachelor of Management. So it was a 4-year degree. And I still didn't know what I wanted to do. So I figured I'd just take something general because it's a great degree to have, and I'll be able to have, or I'll have a lot of options with that degree, or even just using it towards, I don't know, maybe I thought, well, even if I have this like general degree, then maybe this time, these 4 years that I have, I can still try and figure out what I want to do. And I'm taking a lot of classes that are transferable. So if I didn't want to finish getting the degree, I could switch into something different.
After high school, I also didn't really know what I wanted to do. And my dad was pressuring me to go. Now's the time. And I didn't know what I wanted to do. I got very bad grades in high school. I, instead of studying, I gamed. Instead of just doing the things that are beneficial for my future, I just socialized. And then the time came when everybody was getting accepted to U of A, to McEwen. And I was just like sitting there going, what is this? What's going on? Like, I always knew the teachers were telling us that, oh, this is time. You need to make sure your grades are this. You need to make sure you find a niche in life. But I just didn't know. And taking an open studies like that, or a very general degree, and can be very, what's that called? It can really open your mind up to the things that you actually love in life, because I feel like you've realized, hey, that's not for me. You don't really enjoy it.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah. Why didn't you?
I I've never really been a big like school person.
Mhm.
When we were in high school,
Mhm.
my favorite class was drama. I was a theater kid, and
Mhm.
that was like the only thing that really got me through. Those grades are what got me into school because they just take averages, and I had really
Okay.
high marks in theater, but I didn't in all my other classes. And so
Why
I
don't you pursue that?
oh,
Drama. Be an actor.
that is like a big dream, but it's such a I don't want to be a starving artist. So I'm just like,
Mhm. Yeah.
it's a 1 in a million type of thing. And I don't know if I'm the one. So, I mean, you
Yeah.
never know if you don't try, but I feel like I just wanted a more stable path, which is ironic because I'm not doing that right now, but that's fine. Um, so yeah. So when I got to university, I was like, well, I still don't enjoy school. I'm not enjoying what I'm doing because it's not something I'm passionate about. And so I wasn't doing well in university. I actually one semester was put on academic probation because my marks were so bad.
Yeah.
And it basically, I needed to get my GPA up in a semester or I would have been like kicked out of school pretty much. And that was kind of an eye opener for me. That, well, one, I needed to just care a little bit more. And I can get good marks if I try, but I just didn't try.
The passion wasn't there.
Yeah, 100%.
That's the same way with the certain classes that I take that I don't really have any passion for, or activities too. Just when your heart's not in it, then you just can't prolong it. Because the thing with succeeding in anything, and you know this from drama, is you do it over and over up until you memorize your lines, up until you can do it in your sleep. You can do it as you're thinking about it when you wake up. And I think for a lot of people, they are thrusted into a part of life that they don't want. It's because it's what their parents want. And for a lot of my life, that was kind of the reality of it was, oh, this is what my dad wants. This is what society wants me to be. So I'm going to follow this route. Yeah. It's tough these days. And you could just tell you the parents, oh, like make sure your kid's passionate about it, but it's not that easy.
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
Well, and there's so many more options these days for us than there was for our parents. Like for our parents, post-secondary schooling was the option. Like you go to school and then you have a handful of jobs that you can pick from. Now the options are like limitless. So.
Yeah. There's just so many jobs out there, opportunities, niches to fill that, hey, you're going to need some time to just absorb all that.
Yeah.
Because it's not just, one linear path. You could form many niches. You could form many roles, whether it be maybe you want to be a mother, a father, and then a police officer, firefighter, just maybe on your off time, you're an artist. You want to do advertising, maybe on the side, maybe in your acting career. It's just, life is not a race. And that's kind of the biggest lesson I've learned.
Yeah.
And, well, how can one discover their passions and interests when they don't have a solid plan after high school? How's that?
Yeah, I mean, we're 5 years graduated now, and
5 years.
I'm still learning. Like I still don't really know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to have as a career. Like, we graduate with people and they go, oh, I want to be a nurse or I want to be a teacher, or, they know exactly what they want to do, but I still don't really know. And
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think, oh gosh, I just forgot completely what the question was.
Discover their passions and interests.
Right.
You've been doing like computer science, or like you were telling me before, like the coding, and you're doing a little bit of this, a little bit of that.
Yeah. So I've just really like put myself in, I just need to try things. I just need to just, and like give it a solid try. So I went through a phase. So I ended up dropping out of university. I finished 3 years of my 4-year degree.
And you could still come back though.
Yeah, I can still finish it. Yeah, I can still finish it.
Yeah.
But When I first dropped out, I was like, oh my gosh, I have so much time on my hands. Like, what am I going to do with myself?
Yeah.
So I decided that I needed some hobbies, or at least a hobby. And so I just thought of any random thing that I could do. So I can juggle now. And I can play the piano.
Three balls?
3 balls. I can juggle.
Can you do 4?
No.
No?
I'm a
That's in the works.
just a basic juggler for now.
Okay.
And what else did I say I could? Well, I'm really trying to learn Spanish, and it's just I'm doing it on Duolingo, so it's really not working that well. But I'm
You have
trying.
to go to Spain. You have to live there. Be immersed in it.
No kidding. I just need to immerse myself in it. I tried coding, doing a little bit of that. So you just Google stuff, and
There's things that pop out.
endless options and a lot of like free resources and things to do. So it's really cool. And then, I've got a little bit into the vlog life.
Yeah, no, I saw the videos. I like them. I think you could go famous.
Thank you. I'm trying. It's a lot of fun. Like I'm just trying to do things that are fun and bring me joy, because school definitely kind of sucked a lot of joy for me, and it really affected my mental health in a negative way. So I just like, life is too short to be doing things that don't make you happy. And you just got to try new things and put yourself out there. And
good.
Yeah.
Well, you went through school and you found out that that is not for you, and you could still come back. You've done 3 years of it. And now you're in a role now where, okay, you don't really know what you want to do and you're trying different things, but kudos to you for still trying. Right? A lot of people would just go, oh, that's it. I'm giving up. This is me. This is just my life right now. But you aspire for change, right? And you want to actually have a path. And I feel a lot of people don't realize that up until it's too late. Like, we're in a stage right now where we don't have kids. We don't have anybody relying on us. Had you made that decision when you're in your 30s and you had finished that degree and you had gone through just the different businesses, and then you actually have built up your resume based on something you don't like, then you're in a catastrophe. And that's a reality for many people, like a great deal of people. And just even at my work, I have so many people that never truly ask themselves, is this what I want? Is this for me? Is this like, can I do this for the rest of my life? And when I've asked that question to myself, I realized that, hey, I want to do this. I want to get into psychology. I want to start a podcast. I want to run a marathon. And it's not because of my dad anymore or my mom. And I love them. I know they have the best of intentions, but following that can really just burn you out and just catapult you into a world of hurt. And then as you said, you were in university and it was really bad for your mental health. And that's, a lot of people are in that, and it's too late to turn back. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and I would say even too, I have had my fair share of jobs. I have worked more than 10 different jobs in, oh gosh, however many years. It's 5 years, like since I was 16. Oh, not 5.
Which one's your favorite?
7 years ago, I was 16. That's weird.
Yeah.
And
sorry? Which one's your favorite?
My favorite? Honestly, I love being a barista. Like, I do really love working at Starbucks. It's a lot of fun. But it's super light, and I like going to work and then leaving work. Like, you leave it there, you don't take it home with you. And we just have a lot of fun, and you get to talk with people and meet new people, and like, I'm friends with some of my regulars that come in. Like,
I want to be a barista. Actually.
Yeah, it's
like,
actually so much fun.
For my 3rd semester, can you get me a job there? Like,
I would, but we're actually on a hire freeze right now.
Really?
Yeah.
A lot of influx.
Yeah. So we can't hire anyone right now, which is unfortunate because people keep quitting. So we're really short staffed.
Why is that?
Just like different. A lot of people are graduating school, so they're
No,
going
like
into.
the higher
Oh.
freeze.
I think. Well, a lot of people are boycotting Starbucks right now.
All right.
So
I try to stay away from politics.
yeah, I know. I'm like, I don't really want to get into that, but a lot of people are boycotting.
Yeah.
So I think they're just not making as much as they're used to. Like,
Yeah.
it's a really.
I own some Starbucks stock. That's why it plummeted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So we're not allowed to hire anyone else right now.
Okay.
Yeah. but yeah, so I've had my fair share of jobs, and I can definitely say if you don't like your job, get a new one. Like I was a bookkeeper for 3 months. I was only supposed to be there for 3 months, and it was the worst job I've ever had. Like the company, great. My coworkers, great. But I was like falling asleep at my desk because it was so mind numbing, like such slow work. And I'm a person who needs to be around other people and talk to other people. And I had to sit and like put headphones on so that I wouldn't talk to people, like blinders, so that I wouldn't get distracted and I would actually do my work, because I did not like it. So if you don't like what you're doing, do something else.
Yeah. You should do HR. I feel like you'd be great at it.
That's what my mom said.
I feel like you'd be great at HR.
Yeah, my sister works in HR, so she's like, go job shadow.
Yeah, that'd be cool. Going back to Starbucks, I really admire the workers there. They're all I don't go to Starbucks much, but the people that do work at Starbucks seem to be very happy, very just out there, and they're the types of people that you can open up to and talk to. And how has that been cultivated by the managers? Where does that all start? How does that come out to be?
Yeah, so one of Starbucks's biggest things, like their biggest like goal or vision, I guess, is customer connections. And so we have different things that we're supposed to do throughout the shift. So there's beverage quality, and then there's speed, so how fast we're getting through people. But then the biggest one is customer connections. And so Starbucks's goal is to have a point of connection through every stage of a customer coming in the store. So every time a customer comes in the store, all the baristas say hello. They come up to order. You'll do a how are you? You want to have a connection there. And then while their drink's being made, you want to have a connection there. You talk to them while you're making their drink. And then when you hand it off, you make eye contact, you smile, and you want to have a connection there. And then when they leave, you say thank you, because you want to like thank them for coming in. So yeah, Starbucks is really, really big on connecting with people, and their thing is they're the third place. So you have work, you have home, and then the third place they want is like Starbucks. So they want people to feel at home there and feel like it's a safe place and that they're welcome. And that's like the goal of the environment is to be. So if you ever go to Starbucks and your barista is talking to you in the drive-through window, that's why.
Imagine
and if they're not,
yeah,
either they're really busy or they're really tired. I don't know. Sometimes, I mean, we're not perfect, right? So we don't always hit everyone that we're supposed to, but yeah, it's a big thing at Starbucks. So.
Imagine if the world was like that, hey?
Yeah.
Imagine if even other fast foods were like that. It seems so nice.
Yeah, it
Everybody's
is.
so kind to each other.
And you meet so many people. And well, that's another thing too. Like one of my biggest go-to questions is, well, because I work early mornings, so people are always going to work. So my question is, oh, where do you work? What do you do? And then just ask them about their jobs. So I learn a lot. There's a lot of different jobs out there.
Yeah, yeah. Just the power of just talking to people is just, a lot of people miss out because they place certain people to a category and they're like, oh, I don't associate with that category, so I'm not going to bother asking about their lives. But what you end up missing out on is valuable information about life, because this is a person that's maybe a doctor, electrician, nurse, teacher, firefighter, and there's all these different personalities. And if you don't say hi, if you don't ask how are you, or I'd like to ask deeper questions because I'm really just curious. I want to learn. You'll never find out. Yeah. What are some potential advantages and disadvantages of exploring different paths after high school without a set plan?
Yeah. Well,
Mhm.
advantages, I would say, is you learn a lot
Mm-hmm.
about a lot of different things, or you will learn a little bit about a lot of different things.
Mhm.
A lot of my friends call me a jack of all trades,
Okay.
which it can be good or bad because,
Mhm.
the whole saying is jack of all trades, master of none. So,
Yeah.
but yeah, I think it's really, really great to learn new things because you also open yourself up to a lot more opportunities when you
Mhm.
know more, or even like you learn what you like and what you don't like. So I think that
Mhm.
that is a really, really big advantage. Disadvantage is it's terrifying.
Mhm.
And like I still live at home. Me and my brother live there. My parents live in Puerto Rico, so I mean it's not like
So
living at home.
you pretty much live alone then.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
we live on our own. We both pay rent, but it's not like a crazy amount of rent. We're very,
Mhm.
very lucky, and our parents have blessed us a lot and given us a lot. So, I am learning, things like budgeting because you have
Mhm.
to be able to pay all your bills and be able to buy groceries and all those different things, but while still not worrying about it too much, which is why I can work only one job and only
Yeah.
work part time. Um, but Um, yeah, a big disadvantage is I also kind of feel like I know I'm only 23, but I do still feel like I'm running out of time. Like a lot of my friends are graduating now, they're getting jobs or they've been working in jobs and they are in either their career or they know where they kind of want to go the rest of their life, and they're buying houses or they're renting
Mhm.
houses and or renting, just places to live and moving out of home and doing all those different things. And I feel like I'm kind of still stuck in, well, I live at home, I work a part-time job, and I
Mhm.
don't know what I want to do with my life. So that part about it is really, really hard, and trying not to get stuck in that mindset because then it will hold you back from
Mhm.
moving forward too.
Do you think those people are happy? The people that have it seems their shit together.
Yeah.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think it depends on the person, really. Like,
Yeah.
I have a couple friends who absolutely love what they're doing. And I have a friend, well, actually, Colette from
Mhm.
school. She got married in January.
Wow.
Yeah. So she has a husband. They're just renting, but they have a place. They both have full-time jobs
Good for them.
and they're really, really happy and they
Mhm.
love what they're doing. And that I'm so inspired by that because I'm like, you're 23 and you have all
Mhm.
that going on and you are
Mhm.
good. Like you're enjoying yourself and
Mhm.
that's really cool. But then I'm like, there's probably so many people that either are working a job that they don't like. I have another friend who doesn't necessarily like what he does, but he said, "Oh, well, I make money that pays my bills and that's all that matters."
I
And I'm
think.
like, is that,
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, I just don't think I could ever live that way.
We don't truly know though whether that person who's getting married and having that house may be the most miserable, and that person who doesn't have passion for the job could be the happiest. I
It's
think
true.
that's what I've been trying to like
Yeah.
ponder
I think
on.
it also,
Hmm.
they're both very close people to me though.
Yeah.
So I
Hmm.
know kind of the other, like, I know the honest opinions
Okay.
of it. Like, um, marriage probably isn't easy and
Yeah.
people, don't always like their job. So
Yeah.
it could also not always be true, but,
Hmm.
or vice versa with, they say, oh, well, it pays the bills and that's all I need. Maybe that is all they need to be happy is a job that pays their bills. They don't need to have, like, they don't need to love the job
Hmm.
they're doing.
I guess it really depends on the values, whether it aligns with how you live your life. Because you could value love, you could value just discipline, but then you could have a life where that's devoid of love and discipline. And I think, okay, everybody, that's a bad example because everybody wants love. Some people say they don't, but they're missing out. Um, but a person that values just talking to people, being extroverted, but they're in a job where it's isolating. You had said earlier that you were a bookkeeper, and that just you can just feel the soul crushing, just existence of the 9 to 5 bookkeeping, and it's just not rewarding. And you could some people thrive in that. They're great with that, but for some it's degrading, and you can really decipher that after being in that situation, and you won't really know what's on the other side until you go there. Yeah. So I think you shouldn't really fear being behind. I'm also very like behind. I'm very unconventional with the way I've gone through life. I'm still trying to find out who I am. Like I started off in the construction side of things, just working a bunch of hours, and then I realized that was just like mind numbing. And then after that, I went back to school, psychology. I love psychology. And then, yeah, now I'm starting a podcast and just trying my best. I think nobody actually knows what they're doing. I don't think anybody really does. And we just try our best. And we realize an activity makes us happy and one doesn't. And then this person makes us happy, this doesn't. And you just try to find the tools necessary to be able to adapt to life's chaos. Does that make sense?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
How can societal pressures impact someone's decision-making process when they don't have a clear plan after high school?
Yeah, I think they are like society and the norm of even just like you graduate, you go to school, you get a job, you get a house, you get a family. Like it's like, whoops,
that's okay.
It's like all like laid out. That's the structure of societal norms. Obviously, it's kind of straying away from that, and it's becoming different now. I think that society, is more of like a do whatever makes you happy, and it's not as laid out as it used to be. But I think that even still, that's kind of all in the back of our minds still. And when I was unsure if I even wanted to go to school, it was like, oh, well, no, I have to go to school. Like everyone's going to go to school and people are going to judge you for not going to school. But I think that it's really, really easy to be scared of other people's opinions, and it's really easy to not want to be judged. No one wants to be judged. Truth is, we're all judgmental people, even if we try not to be. Like, we're not perfect, so everyone, you'll have your moments. And I mean, judgment isn't always a bad thing too. Sometimes you're judging people in a good way, which I guess it wouldn't be called judgment.
I think we're all constantly judging people.
Yeah.
Whether they're kind, whether they're nice, whether they're bad, negative, a person that is a friend, a person that's not.
Yeah. So I feel like you're going to be judged regardless of what you do, and you're not going to please everybody in your life. You're never going to please everybody. So you just need to do what you need to do for yourself and make sure that what you're doing, I think that you need to do what makes you happy, because I think that being happy is super important. And I mean, I've been not happy, and you can't live that way. Like no one can, you're not living if you're, and I mean, like not happy all the time, but it's not easy to live. Like
if you had $1 million, $1 billion, but you didn't love yourself, what's the point?
Yeah, exactly. So I think that, I mean, much easier said than done. You don't need to do what society tells you need to do. You don't need to look how society says that you need to look. As long as you're doing what makes you happy and you're being kind to other people, and like really, what's the harm?
As long as you're connected to those that you love and they love you back, and you go about the world, and there's this idea of generative that I've read in a book. It's by Paul Conti. And if you add in a world in a positive way, of value, you build something, that is a life worth living. And a lot of people may say, oh, I just work at X job. I just manage the numbers. Or I just work at X job. I just serve people. I don't really do that much. When you ask people, how are you? When you have a smile on your face and you ask people how their son's baseball game went or what's life after retirement and they light up, that is generative. That is of value. And society is going to steer you into so many places. And a lot of these places doesn't really align with your life, and it's going to make you miserable. So really, you just have to find, for me, what's generative, what makes you happy, and it aligns with your values, and it actually brings people up instead of destroying everything around you. Because I have been around people that have been miserable and they get that feeling out, and it comes out in hate and just negativity and why me? Out of all the people in the world, why me? And devoid of meaning like that just really is infectious, like emotional contagion, where when you're happy, I'm also happy, and that's just natural for us human beings. So yeah, I don't follow society. It's just
Yeah, and it's scary to go against society, but I mean, you kind of hear it everywhere. I don't know if you hear it everywhere. I hear it everywhere, but a big thing in my life is like, do it scared. Just do it. Even if you're scared, do it. So there's a lot of things in life that are easy, a lot of things in life that aren't scary, and you can do those things. But if the thing that you want is scary, then do it scared. But still do it. Like Nike knows what they're saying. Just do it.
Just do it.
Yeah.
Trying different things. What are the benefits of experimenting with different activities, careers, or lifestyles during early adulthood?
It's the best time to do it.
Yeah.
I have no serious commitments, no big commitments. I am 23. I'm single. I don't have kids, obviously. I don't even have pets. Like, I don't own property. I don't have anything. And I have nothing. Just kidding.
Hey, that's a good thing though, because a lot of things, materialism can be liabilities.
It's true.
And
my net worth, very small. But I think this is like the prime time for me to just try everything and experiment and do whatever you want to try. That doesn't make sense. Do whatever you want to do. Try whatever you want to try.
Yes.
That's what I'm trying to say. I just combined them.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is like the optimal time for me to do it. I'm in my early 20s, and like, it's so cliche, but the world really is my oyster. Like, I really can do anything, or try anything. And I think that it brings a lot of growth because you put yourself out there. You're in uncomfortable situations. You're in new situations. You're doing things that you don't know how to do. You're starting from zero, which is a very humbling thing. I really like to be good at things, and I'm not good at a lot of things. So I want to quit, but I'm like, you can't get better if you don't start. So I think that it is really, really beneficial to try new things. And even if you're someone who is in their job, they're in their career, or they're, in a different stage of life that I am, still do different things, like in your spare time, or, in your evenings, on your weekends, try new things, push yourself, get outside of the box a little bit, and don't get stuck. Because I feel like a lot of people say life moves really fast, but it's because you're living the same day over and over and over again. But if you do something different every day, I mean, life maybe, it's still moving fast, but you're doing a lot more. But a lot of people wake up, go to work, come home, eat dinner, veg, or go work out, do something. They have the same routine every single day, Monday to Friday. and then maybe even on the weekends. And yeah, life just passes you by because you just repeat the same day over and over and over again. And that sounds exhausting.
Yeah. You had said that the world is your oyster, and that really is just a truth in the world. You could experience so many things in life every single day, and you could try to experience all of it, but it's not enough time. You can't travel all the time. You can't try all the different activities. And with just there's VR now. You could apparently you could just do anything now as technology progresses, and you have like all these things like biomarkers that could just test your blood, and you could see how fast you could run. And then there's things that can just put you to sleep, like just inventions, and we're constantly evolving every single day. So is really a lack of just for the people that do suffer, they fail to bring to light that there is so much hope and so much opportunity in this day and age. And I think it's always been like that. I think we're constantly evolving, and to have a lens of opportunity and growth, seeking novelty is so freeing, because sure, one thing may go wrong, but then that opens up another door. An exit leads to another entrance. And you you didn't like university, so you dropped out, and now doors are opening up, and now you found out that you do like Starbucks, you do like serving people. Maybe that's something you could do, something that aligns with that. And it's just, I really want to get the message out there that, hey, do not lose hope, because I think mental health is a very big problem these days, and I think it's always been a problem. People are just opening up to it. But that novelty is something we must have. Like, you got to wake up every single day and have something to look forward to. How can trying different things help individuals gain self-awareness and personal growth?
Yeah, I think it's really good. So we might touch on this later, but I was diagnosed with anxiety when I was just 6 years old. So I've grown up with it and lived with it my whole life. And
at 6, how did that feel like?
I feel like I don't really remember it because I was so young. I remember like being anxious as a child. I don't think that the diagnosis of anxiety meant anything to me because I was 6. I didn't even know what that word meant. But then growing up, I think I never wanted to label myself as an anxious person.
A little bit of shame in it.
Yeah. And I didn't want it to be something that defined me or held me back. So I know that I have anxiety. Obviously I feel it, and it's something that I have to work through every single day. Like, even driving here, I was feeling it, but that's like my thing. Do it scared. I'm like, do it anxious, because
it's social anxiety.
It's
generalized, just
like general anxiety. I think that as I get older, it's more regarded to being like social anxiety. Cause when, for example, like when I went to England, earlier this year, I was completely by myself. I was fully alone. And every single day, if I wanted to walk into a store, like, I would have to give myself a pep talk, and I would pass stores sometimes if they were just too full because I was too anxious to go into them. And so it's definitely something that
I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
That's awesome.
Yeah, I've definitely had to work on it. I'm still working on it, and I mean, hopefully I don't have to work on it for the rest of my life, but if I do, I do. But I think that pushing myself and trying new things has helped me grow so much, in even just in, I used to not, I used to be, you know, kind of even just nervous to like order something that I wanted at a restaurant because I don't know, I've always just struggled making decisions. But when you're put in a new place, and English people are very um impatient. Like you basically walk up, they're like, "What do you want?" Like pretty much just straight up. So you kind of just have to tell them exactly what you want and just be confident in it. And at first, you know, I got a lot of things that I just didn't want because I would just say anything, the first thing that I saw or came to. But then I was like, okay, you just have to own yourself and you'll be fine. Like, so it's, yeah, it's definitely, I think it's also showed me, because you said, how does it help you be more self-aware? Um, I I always have also been the person that's like, I mean, I feel like everyone struggles with this. Maybe most people, maybe not everyone. But people are looking at me. Like if you walk in somewhere, if someone looks at you, or someone looks at you and they're laughing, they're laughing at me, or, you know, things like that. And it's, I guess I don't know if this is like really what you meant, but I think it's helped me be like, people don't really care that much about what you're doing. Like people are in their own heads and they're thinking about themselves. So I think that that's helped me kind of relax a little bit in public and not be so stressed about messing up or doing the wrong thing. And I'm like, even if I do, I started to tell myself that if I do something embarrassing, I'm just a dinner conversation for someone else.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm just bringing something to their life. So it's fine.
There's a reality out there where it's a person very similar to you, or maybe an actual different dimension, where this version of Kasia never put herself out there, never traveled, stuck in with the degree because you were so far in the hole, you didn't want to get out. But I'm very proud of you for actually giving yourself the little pep talks. I could just picture that in my head. You just going, you're really scared, all that fear built up, but then you did it. You lined up, you said the line, and while it was very uncomfortable for you, you're relieved. And with every single time you expose yourself to that discomfort, that is where you grow. And that has given you a lot of self-awareness and a lot of confidence to approach the world in where, okay, there's these people that may judge you, but you've internalized, who cares? It's not like they're going to go out of their way to hurt me. They're just going to maybe laugh about it. That's worst case scenario. And yeah, no, let's keep it up.
Thank you. Yeah.
I've talked to a lot of people with anxiety. I have it, but in like really weird times. Like I had a lot of anxiety when I was a traffic tech for the company that I work for right now. I was driving like 12 hours, and I just picture me getting in a car crash because I was thinking of law of probability. What if this happened? What if that happened? Then I'd be dead. And what would my family do? They'd miss me. I'd miss them. Would I go to hell?
Right.
I get into these rabbit holes where my existence is just being questioned and my values are not as in sync with how I present myself. And that's where my anxiety stems from, where I'll say one thing and then I'll do this other thing that I was so against, where people think, why would he do this one thing? That is where my anxiety arises from. And so opening about that to other people has made me realize just how prevalent these thoughts and feelings are. And exposing ourselves and finding tools to be able to combat these feelings and to alleviate the pain and suffering that we go through in this chaotic world is liberating. And life will never be perfect. Never. We're going to experience the same feeling over and over up until we're dead. And you know what? Too much chocolate cake can make you obese. Too much sunshine creates a desert. can't have too much of a good thing.
Yeah.
We gotta have these anxious thoughts. We gotta have the negative feelings to realize what it's like up the top. We need to be down low. That's just life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The bad helps you appreciate the good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What are strategies that someone can use effectively to balance exploration with commitment when trying different things?
Yeah. So I think you kind of have to have an idea of not what you want to do, because I said, I have no idea what I want to do, but kind of an idea of what you want to do next and how you could set yourself up for success in that.
You keep mentioning that you're not credible. Like you hint at it in like a very subtle way. I think you're very credible. I think you've gone through 3 years of university. A lot of people would dream to be in university. A lot of people would want to work at a Starbucks, but they can't because they just aren't good with people. They can't talk. And with your social anxiety, you expose yourself and you triumph. So I think you should give yourself more credit.
Thank you. I appreciate that.
Yeah, but go on.
Yeah. I think, just so for example, when back in January, I tried moving to England. I was transferring with Starbucks. Job ended up ghosting me, so I had to come home.
Ghosting you?
Yeah. The manager there just stopped replying to. We were going like through a third party, so we were going through Starbucks.
Expose this guy?
I don't even know what his name is. Like, I literally don't even know the guy.
Is it like a scam?
When I came home, no, it was legit because we were talking to corporate, like Starbucks corporate, and then they were talking to. It was in Manchester, so it was the district manager of Manchester. If you know him, call him out. But he just stopped replying to them, and like they had reached out multiple times, and my manager here even reached out too, and he fully just stopped replying. So when I came home, I got my job back here, which I'm so thankful for. And we ended up reporting him because obviously he was lacking. But when I was wanting to move, obviously that's not a cheap thing to do, to move across the world.
Yeah. Do you get reimbursed for that?
No. But it's okay because I ended up having a month-long vacation and got to travel around England, which was really cool.
That's cool.
But leading up to it, like I needed to save up a lot of money. So I think when you want to try new things, but you're also like, you can't always just like jump into things. You kind of have to, I do really think that being spontaneous is great. And I think being spontaneous is important, to even do just sometimes, but not a lot of people in my life know this, but I am actually going back to England in the fall. And I needed to decide, okay, I can't just leave tomorrow. I do not have the money to leave tomorrow.
Are you going to live there, like move there for good?
No, I have a visa. And I'm just going to live there until the visa runs out. So,
okay.
Yeah, because I had gotten it back for January, but then I didn't get to use it. So I was like, it runs out in January of 2026. So I'm going to do that. And then, if I love it, maybe I'll stay, or maybe I'll go somewhere else, try something new. But yeah, it wasn't just something that I could go, oh, I had to come home. Well, I'll just get on the next plane back whenever I can. Like, I'm applying for new jobs and I have some friends who have connections, so they're giving me contacts, and
good.
I'm trying to like fully set myself up before I go this time, because obviously it didn't really work the last time. So yeah, I think that it is important to kind of have an idea of what you want to do next, so that you can set yourself up to succeed in that. So I think like with small things, trying new hobbies, that's different. Like just go do them, whatever, as long as it's not cutting into things that are important for you. Or like if you have a job, obviously don't ditch your job to go learn how to juggle. You can do it. You can do it anytime. It's really fun. But with things like that, like, okay, this is my next big adventure, but I need to prepare for it so that I can be successful in it. even though I don't really know what it's going to look like once I get there, I know that, okay, well, for this, the things that I would need are a visa and like a plane ticket. And those are easy things to do. But then I also need the funds. So you kind of just, set yourself up to succeed in what you want to try next.
With big tasks, you need to be able to plan it, make a strategy. But then with things like juggling, if you have some spare time, maybe you want to learn how to balance a pencil on your finger. Maybe you could take up swimming as an exercise hobby instead of doing the usual physical activity that you do. Just knowing where to draw the line. That's definitely, did I get that?
Yeah, 100%. And I think even too, I mean, on Saturday I'm starting a half marathon training, and
oh yeah,
I'm terrified to do it.
Sign up right now.
Sorry?
Sign up.
Yeah, no, I'm starting my training on Saturday.
Okay, but have you signed up for the Edmonton Service Marathon? I'm assuming that's what you're gonna run.
When is it?
August 20th.
Oh, that probably is the one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm running that. Yeah.
You really?
Yeah, I don't know if you know this, but I run marathons. I run ultras.
I think I knew that you did stuff, but I'm a new runner. I ran 5K.
I think you could do a half marathon tomorrow.
Probably, if I really put my mind to it.
You could.
But
you want to do it
tomorrow? That's terrifying.
Spontaneity, yeah.
Yeah. See, and I'm like, things like that, like that is something that if you just decide to do it, do it. But
I think
then
you could.
My dad was like, no, you should train for it. So I was like, okay, I'll train for it.
Yeah. A lot of people told me to just start with a 10K, start with a half. But I'm like, I could just do a full marathon, and I didn't really train properly for it. So I just absolutely obliterated my legs, but it felt so great after the finish line, and just the progress of just every kilometer, just so rewarding. I think you'll love it.
It's so true. Yeah. And my problem is I have exercise induced asthma. So I have to like kind of build my lungs up
to
puffer. Be able to. Yeah, I actually need to get an inhaler. I don't have one. And I remember, the first time I ran 5K, I was dead by the end of it. But it was a lot of fun. It's super rewarding. And I hate running, like genuinely hate running. But I also love running at the same time. Yeah. I'm like, I want to run, but then when I'm running, I hate it. And then when it's over, I'm like, I'm so proud of myself.
That's what I find very common with the runners. It's a love and hate relationship.
Yeah.
Because you love it so much where it is great for you. The feeling after it is just amazing, cathartic, but you hate it because it takes a lot of work and effort. And the thought of starting it when you could be doing something more pleasurable is so uncomfortable.
But it's good discipline.
Yeah.
Great discipline.
Can you provide examples of successful individuals who embrace trying different things before finding their passion or purpose?
Yeah. I think my brother is actually a really big example of this for me. He graduated. He did not want to go to school. He was like very adamant about not wanting to go to school, and he worked at Toyota as a mechanic. And then he decided that he was going to you can do schooling with that and then become, I think it's called a porter, or maybe they're a porter before. I don't really know. You go to school and then you make more money basically in the job that you're doing. So he kind of decided that he was going to do that. But he took a graphic design course at NAIT when he was right out of high school, and he really liked that. But when he was working as a mechanic, he started doing like photography just for fun. Like he loves cars, so he would take pictures of cars or take videos of cars and do stuff like that. And he really, really enjoyed doing that. And then he kind of decided that, I guess, okay, backtrack. He liked being a mechanic, and that was something that he enjoyed, but he didn't love it, and he didn't want to do it forever. And it was really, really exhausting for him. And that was like him, trying something. And then he did the graphic design course. He tried it again, wasn't the thing for him, but it was kind of leaning more in the direction that he wanted to go. And then he started doing just, he would like work on cars outside of work. And like he had it's called an Evo 1. I don't know if you know cars. It's like
I don't know cars.
Okay, it's apparently it's a really cool car, and he was kind of fixing it up because
Cool.
and that was something that he did as a hobby, and then he thought, oh well, maybe I could do this, full time. Again, didn't love it. Then he would make videos, like YouTube videos of himself working on cars, and then that was kind of where his like filmmaking started, and then he would just take pictures and videos for fun. And then he fell in love with that and just really, really loved it. And slowly started with, okay, so he did portraits for my parents. And when my ex-boyfriend and I, we were dating at the time, he did couple photos for us and stuff like that. So he was kind of learning different things, and then he would do courses online. And that's kind of how he found his passion. So it all went from he worked as a mechanic, filmed himself making or fixing cars, and then was like, oh wait, maybe I do like filming and stuff like that. And now, so he started doing that, and then he got a job at a dealership at Sherwood Motor Cars. And he was doing, I don't know if I can say that.
Yeah.
He got a job at a dealership taking pictures of cars, which was like then that was a dream job for him. But then when he was there, a new dream sprouted, and he wanted to make different kinds of videos and do different, like videography.
Yeah, he followed this route, and that led to another door, and he followed that route, led to another door, backtracked a little bit, realized, okay, that's not for me, went back a little, then went forward again, and went back, and that's just life.
Yeah, and then when he started actually pursuing doing it on his own, he still worked at the dealership. Like he still had a full-time job, and he just did things in his spare time. And now he fully, like, he quit his job. Now he works out of our house. He's a contractor, and he has some gigs, and he never likes to say that he's made it, but he's definitely living in his dream that he used to have. And obviously now he has new dreams that he wants to strive towards, but he's very, I would say, like, he is very successful, and he is happy in what he's doing and loves it a lot.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Good for him.
So he inspires me.
Coming back from failure, how can experiencing failure during early adulthood contribute to personal resilience and character development?
Yeah, I mean, I'm not there yet, but I think you're gonna fail a lot in life. I mean, I know that there's different levels. Like some things will be more extreme than others, but you're always going to run into conflict, and you're always going to fail. You're never going to be perfect. Nobody's perfect. So things are going to go wrong, and you just have to figure out how to deal with it, because you can't just sit and cry about it and not fix anything. You can sit and cry about it.
Oh, I've done that.
But then you have to get back up, and you have to keep going. Like if you let it take you down, then you can't lose to it. You have to be stronger than whatever it is, and it's going to be hard, but it's going to be okay. And you might have to pick yourself up over and over and over again, but it will be worth it.
Yeah. It's not about how hard you can hit. It's how hard you can get hit and get back up and keep trying again
100%.
and again and again.
And if you get knocked down a million times, that's fine, as long as you get up 1,000,001.
Yeah.
Like you got to keep don't let it win.
Everybody has something that's going to come for them, whether it be a disease, job loss, mental health issues, or all the above. And it's, how do you deal with that? Do you lay on the floor, curl up in a ball, and cry? And while that's okay for whatever time you need to do that, the sun's going to rise and it's going to set. It's going to rise, it's going to set. And you can wallow in that self-pity, that victimhood, or you can look for opportunities. And while I'm a firm believer of everybody should share their emotions and feel feelings, I'm also a firm believer of, okay, you feel that, but you have to do something about it because nobody's going to do it for you.
Yeah, 100%. And I think that it's super important. I mean, obviously, yes, like mental health is a little bit different because like, you know, some people are medically like I get that 100%, but I can also attest to it because I have my own mental health struggles and um there are some days, you know, it is harder and some days you're just going to sit and you're going to wallow in it, but don't let that be every day. Like you because again, you're the only person who's going to pull you out of it. Maybe yeah, you need help, but you have to ask for that help. Like you have to want it. And if you don't want it, make yourself want it. Like, you know, kind of getting out of that. Again, it is a little bit different for some people and certain situations are different. But um yeah, you're never going to get anywhere if you stay stuck. So,
For the person to change, they must be willing to give up what ails them. To be able to grow, you must be able to seek the opportunities and the doors to enter that yourself. Because you could have someone that just carries you. And while that's great and all that, that person is also going through some stuff. And we need to be able to lighten the burden for those people that are helping us and to one day be able to help others. Um, what are some effective strategies for coping with failure and bouncing back stronger after a setback?
yeah, I think so a big thing for me, I think with moving to England and then coming back, obviously a big part of it was I didn't have a job and I didn't have a place to stay, but I could have tried a little bit harder to stay there. But I also was really, really struggling with being there and being by myself. And I was super out of my comfort zone. And so I think a little part of me was kind of glad almost that it didn't work out so that I could come home. But I didn't want to tell anyone that because I was like, this is such a fail. Like, I feel like, oh, I set out to do this thing and everyone expected me to be gone for a year. That was the original plan, was I was going to go for a year and then see how it went. But coming back after only a month instead of a year was really hard for me. And I have some really, really great friends who were like, you're not a failure for failing. Like, so you have to separate yourself from the fail. Like, and I think that that's something that really, really helped me, was that it wasn't, I am a failure. I messed up. I can't do it, whatever. It was, I failed. And now, okay, what am I going to do next? Kind of thing. And I think that failing just in general does make you stronger, because if you're consistently winning and you're consistently, you know, if you just get everything that you want handed to you on a silver platter, you're never going to learn anything and you're never going to face the struggles of, you know, going through that, and you're never going to face failing. So I think that failing itself just helps you be a stronger person, because you have to get back up. Like you can't stay down, just like we just talked about. Like, yeah, failing pushes you to either change or get better, or, you know, different things.
You don't let failure define your identity. You once viewed it as that, and that really took a toll on your mental health, and you had sought advice from your friends and they had alleviated just your feelings of that, and now you've found it useful to not connect failure to identity. Instead, it's part of the process to finding what you truly want. And you had mentioned that if you had gone through life, or if in general, if people get into life and everything was linear, up, 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 you win, and everything that you do, the person that you likes you back, you get your dream job, you just never have any negativity. The moment you do, it's impossible to be able to cope with it because you've experienced these highs. You don't know what it's like on the other side. And it's that kid who's constantly being praised that they're this, that they're that. And when the negativity hits, when the boss tells them, hey, you're not good at your job, start doing this. Hey, you're not that good of a singer. Hey, you didn't do all that well on your test. You just have an A- instead of getting A's. That takes a toll on your head and you're not able to cope with it. And have met people like those, and it's so uncomfortable for them, and they don't know how to be able to bounce back, that it crushes them. And it takes them years to get back up. And yeah, I'm the same way. I'm thankful for the failures. I'm thankful for those adrenaline induced times where I don't know where to start, indecision, just I don't have enough money. I don't have enough time. I have lack of sleep. Do I work out? Do I hang out with a friend? Do I call my mom? Do I call my dad? Do I uninstall Instagram? I heard social media is not good for your mental health. Should I get a dog? Are dogs cool? Like, there's just all these routes that we can take. Life is uncertain, but that is life. And to bend the fabrics of reality and to make it will it to you. And that's not the way it works. Winning all the time just can't work. You need to be able to cope somehow, some way.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, like you said too, if someone never fails, the moment that they do, their whole world crumbles. But if you're used to even little failures, like I fail every day.
Yeah,
I fail
too.
something every single day.
Mm-hmm.
And if you don't experience that, then yeah, like you'll have a harder time working through it when inevitably it does happen.
Yeah, and it does.
Yeah.
The barbarians will attack the castle. I mean, they're scheduling their attack right now. You don't know if they're going to drop missiles. You don't know if they're going to go underground. And the barbarians have upgraded in the castle. You need to be constantly upgrading the castle, ensuring that the defenses are well built, well structured, and that the people within that castle, because does that make sense? I'm just kind of, I've played with this idea of just the barbarians attacking inevitably, and they have come for me many times, and it seems like they have come for you as well. Now, when that time comes, are you prepared? Did you have the tools of maybe good sleep, maybe just the social support, maybe you meditate, maybe you try novel things to be able to cope with existence? And within that castle too, sure, it's well defended and the barbarians will come. Maybe within that castle, you had invited people that are doing an inside job and they tear the whole castle from the inside. Or it could very well be you tarnishing the relationships within that castle. So it's good to arm the defenses as well. And it's great to ensure that everybody in that castle that you're trying to protect, they're well nourished, connected, and well fortified for when you guys are all being attacked. Is that a far stretch?
It's a great analogy.
I've been thinking about that a lot.
I can tell.
How important is it for individuals to redefine success and failure as they navigate through early adulthood?
Yeah, I think that you need to define your own success. Like, you can't let someone else tell you what will be successful for you.
How do you define it for you?
For me?
Yeah.
Well, it's kind of ironic because my mom kind of put the idea into my head, but I really do believe it. And she's always said, like, I just want you to be able, the way that she says it is in regards to like finances. She always says like, I just want you to be able to afford to do everything that you want to do.
Mm-hmm.
And I mean, I don't like necessarily put it right to money, but if I am able to experience the things that I want to experience, like that to me is success. Or like, so that is, you know, one day maybe I do have a job that I don't expect myself to have, but if it's something that I enjoy, then that's success to me. I want to have a family one day. Getting there, I don't know how I'm going to get there. I don't know when it'll happen, but that is successful to me. Going back to England, trying again, like that's something that I feel like is going to bring me success, even if it doesn't pan out the way that I am picturing it in my head right now. Just the fact that I'm going back and I'm trying again after failing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That's
Does
great.
that make sense?
It does make sense.
Okay.
You experience these things where you get a setback and then you come back and do it again. And there are these things that you want to do. You want to start a family and you want to be able to do the things that you want to do truly.
Mm-hmm.
And finance shouldn't be a play in it. Sure, it is a play, but as your mom said, that is a crucial part of life. Money.
Mm-hmm.
While it's just money doesn't bring you happiness, the activities, the connections that we make are impossible to do without the necessary funding.
Right.
Did I understand that?
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think just like in super simple terms, like success for me is being happy.
Yeah.
Like if I'm happy where I'm at and in what I'm doing, then I'm successful in what I'm doing.
For me, I think success is something that helps me keep going even if I am not happy. Like I want to be able to go through suffering. I'm not like a masochist, but like I want to be able to make an ultimate sacrifice and do it in the benefit of others. Because the moments where I do think about myself too much, or I become too individualistic, ego driven, those times are the most miserable times of my life. But when I think of Jesus, when I think of God, when I think of the bigger picture where, okay, every single action, every single rep that I put out in the gym, every single step that I make in this run, it is not for me. It is for my family. It is for God. It is to add to this world because there is so much evil. And I don't know if that, because I do that sometimes and I'm not happy, but I feel fulfilled. Does that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%.
Yeah, like
well, and I think too, like I just lost my train of thought. Never mind. Keep going. Sorry. I don't know where it went.
All right. I think Jesus is very he's an amazing person and a person that I look up to, and I think, what would I do if the whole entirety of this community went against me and didn't believe me for what I'm saying, when I just want to add positivity and I want to save people, and they crucify me, put crowns on my head, made fun of me, and I still love them even though they hate me a lot. And I've been trying to apply that in my life. Never perfect. It's very difficult to be able to attain that level of compassion and sacrifice. But this coworker at my work who despises me, I tried to love him instead of giving the typical retaliation treatment where, okay, you don't like me, I don't like you back. But I find it liberating to be able to forgive and to be able to actually want the best for him, because I know it's not comfortable, not fulfilling to give hate towards others. And I know he's going through some things of his own. I think going back to success, that's in itself is something that I derive great value in and great confidence that, hey, no matter how much you hate me, no matter how much you do all these negativity, I will love you back and I won't step down to the works of the devil. Did that make sense?
Yeah, no, 100%. And I mean, I think, yeah, definitely coming from a Christian point of view, like we are called to love people. Like that's the one thing we're called to do by God himself is to love people. And so I think that 100% is like kind of what you're talking about. Like you just love others. And I think that, you know, when other people are happy, like it's contagious, you know, it makes you happy too.
Yeah. When you do stuff for others, it's just so fulfilling.
Yeah.
I find.
Yeah.
Can you share a personal or inspirational story of someone who overcame significant failure during their early adult years?
Yeah. Well, I have like, it wasn't really their early adult years, but my uncle, he basically came up with this idea of a streaming service, which, you know, there's lots of those these days. This was like back before there was any, this was like when Netflix was like DVDs that you buy in the grocery store in those like red boxes. Like it was before everything crazy.
That was a thing you bought Netflix?
Yeah, before Netflix was a streaming service, they had they were in like Safeways and things, and you'd buy CDs from them.
Kind of like Blockbuster?
Sorry?
I've never actually gone in a Blockbuster store, but I heard that.
Well, Blockbuster, you bought CDs. It was more like a rental. So you would go and you'd rent a movie and you'd take it home, you'd watch it, and it was like the library. You'd have to bring it back at a certain time.
Yeah.
So it was like back before even they were streaming, but he came up with this idea of a streaming service and like did a lot of trial runs and stuff for it. We were part of trial runs for it. And he just didn't have enough funding to like get it up on its feet. So he brought it to a bigger company and like pitched it to them to get help from it. And then he had a patent and everything. And then they said, okay, we're going to take this idea, make it our own, and you can't do anything about it because we'll take you to court and you'll run out of money before you would ever win.
Really?
Yeah. And I'm not going to say which service that it is, but there's one letter difference to the name that he had and then the name that it actually is now. So it's like that was a huge thing for him because it was like that was his passion project. And that was, you know, what he had been dreaming of and been working towards. And it was just taken right out from under his feet. But he didn't let it stop him. Like he ended up, he didn't create a different streaming service or anything, but he still like had a lot of success in his life and a lot of joy and stuff. But that was a huge like failure on his part because, you know, he was successful in what he wanted to do. Obviously, it was a great idea, and it ended up being really good that some big company thought, oh yeah, this is amazing, we're going to do it ourselves. But the fact that it was his idea, so that was a huge failure for him. But, you know, he learned from it, and he hasn't had anything else like that happen to him. But he had to bounce back from that. He couldn't let that be the end of his line. Like he couldn't just give up from there. He has a family, and you know, so I think that is super inspiring because, you know, that's your baby, your dream is just like taken from you, and there's nothing you can do about it.
Yeah. Had he let that define who he was and told everyone that, hey, this was taken away from me, this is why I can't move on with life. Because I have met people that go through a catastrophe in life and that becomes their identity. They're like, this happened to me. You're known as that person who got rejected by a a company and they took your idea as their own, and that's who you are. But your uncle, he now has a family and now he has a career, and he didn't choose a life where it was the victim mentality. He
Yeah.
chose a life where, okay, this happened to me. It's okay. I bounce back. We keep going no matter what.
Yeah.
Which is really inspiring. And you hear so many stories of that. The power of the human spirit is unbreakable. If we just go through the pain and suffering and sit in that negativity and come up with tools, ways to go about life, the answers come. And while maybe they may not be pretty, they might not be the best, there's still solutions to the problem. And there's going to come a day where that problem is something of the past. And now you just think about the future.
Yeah.
Navigating through things with anxiety. Ready to talk about it?
Ready.
What are some common challenges individuals face when navigating through early adulthood with anxiety?
Yeah. I think one of the biggest things is the amount that it actually does hold you back from a lot of things. If you let it. Of course, sometimes it feels like the end of the world and it feels like you actually can't make it through, or I think a big thing is that is restricting when it comes to anxiety is like panic attacks, or anxiety attacks. Are a little bit different, but I don't know. I feel like they're kind of the same, one and the same.
Do you have them
I do.
often?
It depends. Like sometimes I've gone through like phases where they've been worse than other times. But yeah, sometimes they're like really, really bad, and it's hard to it's hard because it's like for me, like I just can't breathe, and it feels like there's someone like sitting on my chest, and
I heard it's like you're dying.
it literally feels like it feels like you're drowning, but also like you just can't get air in your lungs, and like your mind is racing, and it's like so hard to explain, but yeah, it is one of the worst like feelings that I feel like I've had. And sometimes they're more severe than others. Sometimes I'm able to like come out of them on my own, or like control them before they get too bad. But sometimes it like you just kind of have to feel it and you have to go through it. And that I think is one of the hardest things about having anxiety, because it also, for me, I don't have like a trigger. I don't have something that just like sets them off. They just come randomly. Like I was in a museum one time by myself, and it just randomly, like I just got one really, really bad, and
Out of nowhere.
And I was fully by myself. There was not a soul around. Like it was an airplane museum, and it was outside. So
You think it's rooted in the unconscious? Maybe there's something in your peripheral that reminded you of a negative time in your life, and that catapulted you into the panic attack?
It honestly could have been, but I really have no idea.
No.
Like I don't ever feel like there's a common denominator between them. Like they just come at the randomest of times.
And I'm sure you have thought about this deeply, hey, since
100%.
it is a massive issue, and alleviating this,
Yeah.
or finding answers would be very beneficial to your peace of mind.
Yeah. And it's hard too, because like, so I've gone to therapy a few times for my anxiety. My problem is it will like gets really bad. So then I go to therapy, but then it gets better, which is great. I love that it gets better. That's not the problem. But like I was going to therapy, and in my last session that I had with my therapist, she was like, we didn't even make the full hour. She was like, you seem like you're really good. And I was like, I am really good. And then it goes away for a while, but then it comes back. So
I think you seem fine.
thank you. Thank you. I appreciate
Not
it.
that I'm a therapist, but
yeah.
Mm.
But I don't even know what I was saying.
Yeah. The panic attacks, can you describe what they feel like from the beginning to the end?
Yeah. So the way I feel them on is when it starts, it's kind of like your breathing picks up a little bit and you just feel like really, really nervous. I really feel anxiety in my stomach. So like I feel really nauseous when I'm anxious. And that's kind of how it starts. And then my breathing picks up and my mind starts racing. And if I can't really get that under control, then it just gets worse. And then I feel like I'm like choking or like drowning and like I can't breathe. And not just in like I don't even know if it's like you almost like it feels, I don't even know. Like breathing is such a normal thing that you do. And
it starts in your stomach, builds up, and then you get choked up.
Yeah. And it's like I forget how to breathe. Like I can't take air into my lungs. Like even if I try, like I just can't bring air into my lungs. And then I get like a pounding in my head and my vision starts to like blur, which probably is because I'm lack of oxygen. But it feels like there's like a high pitched like squeal in your head, kind of, but
like
not
tinnitus,
really.
You ever heard of that?
Sorry?
Like tinnitus? Have you ever heard of that?
Yeah, kind of like that, but almost like elevated.
Like
and
really, really high pitched.
Yeah. And yeah, I don't know. And then like I just like sweat, like I get really, really hot and
your body's just in fight mode.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or fight or flight mode.
Yeah.
Wow. And you said you had experienced anxiety when you were 6. When did the anxiety attacks or panic attacks? What's the difference?
I don't really know what the difference. There's not much of a difference. I think panic attacks are more severe than anxiety attacks, I would say. Like like what I just described is more like a panic attack. Anxiety attacks is more like it's just not as intense. I would say, yeah.
So how does it end though? It just stops? Or you just like,
no, it's like it definitely is a come down from it. Like
like
once
if it was
you
in a graph, how would that? So it would slowly go up,
or it's like it starts slow and then it just shoots up, and then you kind of once you get your mind and your breathing under control, it's easy to come down from it. But the problem is like usually when you're alone, your mind is racing, so you're not focusing on your breathing. So like other people really help with, like, the way to help someone with it is to help them regulate their breathing, because you can't think about it. Like you have so much going through your mind at one point and you're like really, really overstimulated. So it's hard to get yourself to focus on your breathing. But when you focus on your breathing, that's like a thing that helps you regulate your nervous system. So regulating your breathing is kind of how you come out of them.
Okay. If you had experienced an anxiety right now, what would a person like me be advised to do?
Yeah, I honestly just like help them with their breathing, like trying to help keep them grounded. Like, I think I mean, I don't know, it could be different for other people, but like knowing that you're even just in a safe place, like if you're in an unfamiliar environment, it's also easier to feel more panic because you I always look for an escape. So like, for example, when I was in that museum, I didn't know how to get out, and that made it worse because I didn't know how to leave, and it almost like felt like I was getting claustrophobia. So yeah, knowing that you're in a safe space, but then just regulating your breathing and having someone else talking helps because it distracts you. So yeah, talking
like,
and
Kasia, it's gonna be okay. Just focus on your breath. There's
and like breathing with them, like
you're
like
cool.
okay, breathe in,
Breathe in,
trying to
breathe
get
out.
deep breaths, because a lot of it too is hyperventilating.
Okay. Yeah, no, I've had some run-ins with people that have had panic attacks, and an advice I was given too was to remind them that you're there, but don't get too close. Also don't get too distant. Remain a good, depending on your relationship.
Yeah.
If it's a stranger, then yeah, of course, don't get too close. But if it's like a loved one, then you want to comfort them. Touch is okay, and it really depends. I'm here. You have to really constantly remind them that you're there, the presence and the breath work
and eye contact. Because if that's another thing is like if you're scatterbrained, your eyes are darting around too. So if they have something they can look at, and they have something. Oh, that was loud. They have something that they can look at. They have something they can hear, which is your voice.
Yeah.
That helps to also stabilize them, and then that you can help them with the breathing, and then
Cool.
Yeah. So eye contact is great.
You typed a script?
Typed a script?
I thought that's what you said.
I said eye contact is great.
Oh, wow. I thought you said you typed a script. Sound kind of similar.
I understand how you heard that, but that's not what I said.
But you should type a script though.
I will. I'll write one up, and then I'll just, if I'm having one, I'll business card, just give it to people.
Yeah, I'm having a panic attack right now.
Please help.
This is what you say. This is what you do. Eye contact, breathing.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that'd be cool. Actually, if they started normalizing that.
Yeah.
Yeah. I was talking to my friend, and some girl had a panic attack in the middle of a 100, where there was a gymnasium for exams, and there was 100 people in there, in the middle of it. Is that how would that just intensify things? You can't help it, right?
And that's the other thing is like, well, for me, it's very embarrassing.
Yeah.
Because it's very vulnerable. Like you are at your most vulnerable because there's nothing you can do. Like, so I think the other thing is if then when you try to hide it, it also makes it worse because you're suppressing things too. Like almost, letting it out also helps. But, I would hate that.
Yeah.
In the middle of a gym. That would suck.
Yeah. I had one, and that was what led me to quit vaping. Got back from school. It was my first semester a couple years back, and I was just really stressed out. Comp Sci 101 was just something I had a difficult time with grappling, and my dog was barking. I had stats. I didn't enjoy stats. I had a lot of doubt. I was going through a lot of shame, just guilt about also imposter syndrome. Should I be in university? Am I who I am? And it just spiraled me into just panic mode, and just I kept taking hits of my vape to alleviate everything. All the sensory experiences were just magnified. And then that was 595 days ago. Sorry, I'm not bored.
That's amazing. That's awesome.
Yeah, that's a story of my panic attack, which actually ended up being a good thing because I quit vaping because of it.
There you
go. How can one distinguish between normal stress and anxiety during the... I guess I was going to put... This is the good question itself. How can one distinguish between normal stress and anxiety?
Yeah. I think, like... It's kind of... Again, it's different for everyone, but I would say, like, anxiety is more... Well, it's weird because it's kind of like bigger picture. Like I have a lot of anxiety about my future because I have no idea what I want to do, like long term.
Like existential.
Yeah, kind of like.
Well, stress is just like, okay, I didn't get that cup of coffee on time.
Yeah, or I have a big presentation at work. I'm stressed, to give that. Like you're a bit anxiety, like you have you have some nerves towards it too, but like stress
cool.
about, getting it done, getting the presentation done in time. That I would say classifies as stress. But then I would say anxiety is like,
will I make it in life?
Yeah, it's kind of like a more,
Am I gonna be
deeper,
loved?
like stress is more surface level.
Cool.
And then anxiety is more deeper. But I think anxiety can be small things too, because it can also stem from overthinking. Like if you start overthinking, you can spiral.
Routes.
Yeah.
Like, oh, this cup of coffee wasn't on time. That must mean I'm a failure, which means that I can't do anything right. Why keep going? Might as well quit work. Might as well quit life. What is this?
Yeah.
And then just boom, 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 boom. Next thing you know, your heart is beating 1,000 times per minute and you just can't maintain eye contact and you just feel heavy.
Mm-hmm.
Did I understand that correctly?
Yeah, no, 100%.
And you had said that breathing is a way to alleviate the panic attacks and anxiety.
Yeah.
And are there any other tools?
I haven't really found anything else that works for me. But I mean, like scientifically, focusing on your breathing helps regulate your nervous system.
Mm-hmm.
And so, anxiety, nervous system.
I heard sensory experiences or emphasizing the sensory modalities is a way of coping.
Yeah, 100%. Because if you're in, like, for example, if you're in a really busy environment and it's really loud, that will heighten it because there's a lot going on. Like if you were in a restaurant, there's a lot of, there's people talking at other tables. You can hear the kitchen, you can hear the door opening. Maybe there's a sports game on the TV. Like there's a lot of things that are going on and that can also heighten it. So being able to like kind of like focus in on one thing or a couple things.
Cool.
Definitely. Yeah.
Yeah. Just what would you say to someone who has never experienced anxiety and it's new to them?
Welcome to the club. Just kidding.
Welcome. You're not going back.
You're welcome here.
Yeah.
I would say that it's okay to get help. And you should get help. Because it's like not one person is going to be able to, tell you what to do or how to feel or you'll have to navigate through that on your own, but it's okay not to be okay. It's okay to ask for help and you will be okay. Sometimes it feels like it's the end of the world. And even when you're doing better or you get better, it's not linear. And some days are going to be harder than others, but you just got to keep pushing through it and yeah, you'll be okay.
How can supportive relationships alleviate anxiety?
Yeah, I mean, I am such a people person. So I think that if you have a good support system around you and you have good people around you, they're going to love you no matter what. And you got to find people that are going to love you no matter what, because we're all flawed and we all have our own things. So if you have people around you that aren't supportive of you and don't love you, just like you're going to have to let them go because that's not good for you and that's not healthy for you. But I know that the people I surround myself with are safe. And I know that if I needed to call them, I could. And that's important with the people that you surround yourself with. I mean, not everyone that you surround yourself with is going to be, you have people for different things, but make sure you have a support system around you that is safe and that you can go to when you need help, because inevitably you will need help and you're not meant to do everything alone. So don't try because you'll fail, which is okay.
Yeah. Thank you so much for coming on the long-term podcast.
Thank you for having me.
I appreciate you. Thank you for telling your story and being so open to tough topics, being vulnerable as well. And anxiety is tough and life will never be perfect. And you good luck in England.
Thank you.
No, I'll see you again.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
Yeah, maybe I'll start going to Starbucks.
Yeah.
But yeah, Kasia Sczesny.
Sczesny. Yeah.
Okay. Everyone, Kasia Sczesny. And as always, there's a place for you in this chaotic world. Never lose hope. Keep going and keep it long term. Peace.